And we're back. It's a new year, I got new hair, and I'm ready to review some new comics. So without further ado, let's talk comics. All right, so like I said, it's a new year. I hope you had a happy holiday and a happy new year. I'm gonna shake this show up a little bit. It's gonna have segments now and nice little timestamps, so you can go to that part of the show if you don't wanna watch the whole thing. It's fine, I understand. I have to look at my face every day for a while too. I don't need to subject you to that. But basically how the show is gonna shake out now is I'm gonna tell you about all the comics I'm picking up at the comic book shop this week. That'll be the first segment. The second part will be what I picked up last week, and maybe if you didn't pick it up last week, you should pick it up this week. And then the third part is gonna be nerd news in 60 seconds. Reporter voice. And basically that's all the nerd news that you're gonna need to know for that week, hopefully, or some of it, in a brief 60 seconds, of course. And these videos are gonna be coming out every Tuesday, so that will be the day before New Comic Book Day, as you know. So you will have plenty of time to get to the comic book shop, maybe Floating World Comics, located at 400 Northwest Cooch Street, that's my comic book shop, to pick up your new comics, and maybe some comics from last week that you accidentally skipped over and you shouldn't have. And so we're gonna start with comics that I put in my box to be pulled for January 8th. The first of which is Daphne Byrne. Now that is a DC Hill House comic, and I've seen these Hill House comics sort of on the shelf. They all look sort of horror oriented, but I haven't picked any of them up. So I'm really excited to pick this one up. It sounds creepy and a little scary. There's some occult stuff, there's maybe some demon stuff, and I'm interested in like a darker comic that it doesn't have anything to do with superheroes. So Daphne is a 14-year-old girl who just lost her father and lives with her grief-stricken mother, who's been convinced by these occultists that they can reach out to her husband from the dead. And Daphne's like, oh, maybe no. She's trying to save her mom from this unfortunate thing where she's being taken advantage of. But all while she's doing that, she finds a disturbing darkness inside of her that has a name and sort of some insatiable needs. And that is a dark and weird, creepy sounding comic that I am here for. Fun fact about me, I like weird ghost stuff. If Ghost Adventures, a marathon is on, I will watch it. I'm also picking up a comic called The Clock. It's a miniseries debuting from Image Comics that is about a cancer outbreak across the world. So hundreds of thousands of people contracted this very aggressive cancer, and this cancer doctor's wife died from it. His daughter's now sick. And he's not only trying to fight the actual cancer, but also the propaganda surrounding it that may push us into a World War III, as the preview says. Little on the nose for the time being, but you know, I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna see what it's like. Very exciting stuff. So that is what I'm gonna pick up on January 8th. Let me know what you're gonna pick up at your local store, what you're excited to read. And now we're gonna move on to what I read this week, because actually one of the books I read this week technically comes out on January 7th. So this book that I read, it's for kiddos. It's called Diana, Princess of the Amazons, but it was so great. And I picked it up because I'm a fan of Victoria Ying, who's a great Twitter follow if you don't follow her on Twitter, and a great artist, and this book was illustrated by her, and so I thought I would pick it up. Like I said, it is for kiddos, but it was so fun for me to read. It's about Diana as the only kid on Themyscira, and how she, you know, sees all these Amazons and they're so good at things, and they're just so adult and so mature, and she's just this kid who's stuck on the island with no one to relate to. And so, of course, as the myth goes, Diana's mother made her out of clay and wanted her so badly that she breathed life into her, and then she was born. So Diana thinks, I'm an Amazon, I could do that. And she tries to make a friend, and she ends up making a friend named Mona out of clay. But Mona ends up being this sorceress that's up to no good. And as she's pretending to be this girl made out of clay, the sorceress sort of tricks Diana into getting into some trouble. But what this comic does really well is tells kiddos that, you know, it's really great to just be who you are, and you don't have to compromise who you are to be amazing. And I think it's just so cute, and it was beautiful on the inside, and I can't wait to be done filming this review so I can loan it to somebody who has a kid who would really, really enjoy it. Now, the comic that I picked up that actually came out last week was Thor #1. I don't really know anybody who went to the comic book store and didn't pick this up, so maybe I'm talking to nobody, but this was a really good Thor comic. And I'm saying that as somebody who doesn't typically enjoy Thor comics. There's a lot of dialogue. I find it usually kind of irritating and long-winded, and it's written in ye olde English, and I just like kind of don't care, to be honest, which is, I don't know. I know I'm wrong for that, but it's fine. This is written by Donny Cates, and it was really good. So Thor is now the king of Asgard. You know, it kind of picks up from the last time that we saw him. He's got eye patch, he's got long hair, he's got beard. He's just doing Thor stuff. You know, but it also kind of, he says, you know, what is a king to a god? And he's, I don't know, he seems maybe bored in his new king job. And what I really liked about this comic was that you got to see a little bit of Thor's personality, and not only that, but you got to see some Thor and Loki interaction, which I love that. Hilarious brothers, very good. So this comic turns what might be a boring king story and flips it on its head, because Galactus crashes into Asgard and Thor thinks that they're under attack, but Galactus says he needs Thor's help, kind of. Basically, Galactus has seen the Black Winter, which is the end of days. Will destroy their whole world, destroy everything. And Silver Surfer comes in. From Silver Surfer Black, it'll continue if you did read that comic, which is pretty cool, to say that this is sort of an inevitable thing, and the only person who can fight it is Galactus. And in order for Galactus to fight it, well, there are all these planets he'll have to suck the power from, and Silver Surfer's gonna have to babysit him while he does that to make sure, he doesn't like go mad with the power, because it's Galactus. But Thor says, no, Silver Surfer, you're not gonna go by yourself. I'm gonna go with you, probably because he's craving some adventure. Oh, and at the end of this comic, Galactus seems to tie himself to Thor by shooting some power into him, and then Thor looks mighty as hell. He also looks like he gets his eye back, so maybe he's a little appreciative of that. But I'm really interested in how Galactus and Thor will be fighting this together. And I'm also interested to see this new powered up Thor, which is really cool. This comic got straight to the point. There wasn't too much weird Asgardian politics. It wasn't too old Englishy. I really enjoyed this comic, and I liked the afterword at the end where Donnie said, writing comics kind of takes some of the magic out of it. But Thor comics have always held a lot of magic for him, which I think is so cool, because everything in a Thor comic is just so fantastical. It's just like cranked up to 10, and this comic really embodied that. The characters are great. It was so well drawn. It was so beautifully colored. The story was straight to the point and easy to understand. So I think Thor lovers and Thor mehers like myself will really enjoy this comic. So if you didn't pick it up last week, another Thor comic, I really like this, and I would encourage you to pick it up if your comic book shop still has a copy, or you can order it. But yeah, I really enjoyed this, and I'm really excited for this new 6th Thor. Now we're moving on to a new portion that I'm going to call Nerd News in 60 seconds. Beep, 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 beep. I'm alone in here. Okay, we're about 60 seconds on the clock. I got some notes here, so if I break eye contact with you, don't be mad, I'm only a human being. Thank you. So this week's Nerd News in 60 seconds is all the things that you can look forward to in the nerd world in 2020. We're gonna start with February 7th. Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn comes out. I'm very excited for this movie. I'm very excited for girl gang vibes, and I like the Birds of Prey storyline, so I'm really excited for that. And we have New Mutants coming out on April 3rd. Now this movie kept getting pushed back by months and months, and it's also gonna be like a horror movie take on our favorite New Mutants that were really popular in the 90s and the 80s. I don't know, I feel weird about it. I feel weird that it was pushed back for so long. I guess we'll see what happens. I haven't seen a good X-Men movie in a long time, so my expectations are low, but I'm hopeful. Black Widow comes out May 1st. Now I really wish I would have gotten this movie in 2013, because now I kind of don't care about it, but we do get Florence Pugh as Yelena, who will be taking up the Black Widow mantle, if you will, which is interesting, I guess. I feel very neutral about this movie. Wonder Woman 1984 comes out on June 5th. I'm really excited for this movie. I loved the first Wonder Woman. I think it's DC's best movie franchise right now. Oof. And I'm really excited to see Kristen Wiig playing Cheetah. Pedro Pascal is a bad guy, and I'm very here for Steve Trevor in a fanny pack. Very exciting. We get Morbius on July 31st. Now this is a movie I haven't heard too much about. I haven't even seen a trailer yet, but I do know that Jared Leto is playing Morbius, which is weird. He's a vampire in the Spider-Man universe. If you guys don't, you probably know that. All right. Eternals comes out November 6th. This has a really star-studded cast. I'm very excited. This is one of those comics that I don't care about, just like I didn't care about Guardians of the Galaxy. But Guardians of the Galaxy is a great movie, so I have great expectations for what the Eternals movie is going to be like. I haven't been that disappointed by Marvel. We'll see. And coming to Disney Plus, we have 2 new superhero sort of TV shows coming out. We have Falcon and Winter Soldier coming out in fall 2020, which is very nondescript. Really excited about that, to see Falcon with the shield. Get to see more of Bucky Barnes, because he's kind of been back there just popping up for a couple pieces of dialogue here and there, but I'm excited to get to know his character better. And we also have WandaVision, which is coming out in 2020 sometime. There's no real date for that, but I'm really excited. Wanda Maximoff is one of my favorite characters of all time. I don't care about her toaster husband, but I will put up with him in order to watch Wanda. So I'm really excited about that. We'll see what kind of storylines that takes. Is it gonna take a House of M type storyline? Is it gonna take a Children's Crusade storyline? Are we gonna get her kids in the mix? Like, we'll see how that goes, and I'm really excited. So that's all the nerd news you need to know for upcoming things in 2020. I probably missed some stuff, so you should let me know on Twitter or Instagram. Probably Twitter. I'm way more active on Twitter. On Instagram, I post pictures of my dogs and plants, so if you're interested in that, it's there. But also tweet at me what you're reading right now, what I should be reading. I want to know what you guys are loving, what you're super excited about for 2020. I personally cannot wait to be disappointed by WandaVision. And so I hope you're really enjoying this new revamped show with these 3 sections. You know, what to look forward to next week, what I read last week, and no news in 60 seconds. Beep, 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 beep. I'm trying my best here, guys, and I really appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. I'll see you next week, same-ish time, same place. And until then, this has been KGW's Comic Book of the Week. My dog is here. Do you all want to see him? I'm gonna take you off the tripod here. Here he comes. Oh my goodness. What a good boy. Oh my goodness. Hi. Hi, you're so good. Where are you going? Come back. Say hi to your fans.